Hey everyone, George here. So today we're going to talk about meals and their deductibility. So the default rule is that meals are 50% deductible in your business. However, there is an exception. There are times when they could be 100% deductible. And today we're going to talk about all the details and fine print that go into the 100% deductibility of meals so that you don't mess this up. So let's get started. So the default rule is that business meals are 50% deductible. That's the starting point. So if you don't meet a specific exception, just assume 50% deductibility. Now the confusion happens because there are exceptions to that 50% rule and times when it's 100% deductible. So before we get into the exceptions, let's do a quick walkthrough of the 50% meals, which is the most common type. So number one is lunch while working, and yes, even on the job site. So I get the question every now and then, I grab lunch while working, that's deductible, right? And yes, it is deductible, but unfortunately only up to 50%. Even though it could be argued that it's business related, the IRS says that you're going to eat regardless. So they only give you, up to 50% deduction for it. Number two, meals with clients or vendors. So if you're taking a client, architect, engineer, or supplier to lunch, that's a classic 50% deductible meal. Number three, meals while traveling overnight. So if you're traveling overnight for work, out of town job, training, conference, your meals are still only 50% deductible. Number four, Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats. The fact that it gets delivered doesn't change the deductibility. So now what are the exceptions? When are meals 100% deductible? Number one is meals for employees for the convenience of the employer. This is a big one in construction. Meals can be 100% deductible if they're provided to employees on a job site or location for a legitimate business reason, not just quote unquote being nice. So what are some examples that qualify for this first exception? For example, feeding crews so they don't leave a remote job site. Lunch provided during mandatory safety meetings. Meals during extended workday or shutdowns. And overtime pushes where leaving would kill productivity. The key phrase here is for the convenience of the employer. If the reason is I need my guys here and working, then you're in good shape. If the reason is we felt like ordering pizza, then obviously it's not as good of an argument. Number two exception is meals included in employee wages. So if you provide meals and include the value in your employee's W-2, then it becomes fully deductible to you. Now, honestly, this is not a common scenario that I see. Usually employers wouldn't go adding the value of the meals in the W-2 for their employees, but that's how the rules work. And if you did include it in their W-2 as fringe benefits, then it would be fully deductible to the business. Number three exception are for company-wide events and including employees, not just for the owners. And these are events that are primarily for the employees that I had my last episode on. So these include holiday parties, company picnics, safety celebrations, and team appreciation events. So if the event is primarily for the employees, not just for the owners and management, and it's not lavish or extravagant, then these become fully deductible. So number four exception are meals that are made available for a training or safety program. So this is another big one for contractors. So if the meals are provided during mandatory OSHA training, mandatory safety meetings and training programs, required certifications, or job briefings, these become 100% deductible. Because again, in this case, the primary purpose is business, not eating. And number five, again, this is less common, but meals provided to the public. So if meals are provided to the general public, usually in conjunction with a marketing or promotional program, and it's not just for the owners or management, then in that case, it would be 100% deductible. Examples include food at an open house, client appreciation barbecues open to the public, and food provided at trade shows. So again, these are all meals provided to the public, usually for marketing, promotional purposes, and they become 100% deductible. So, these are things that you don't want to say, traps that will cause you to be limited to the 50% deduction. Number one, I worked through lunch. That's still 50%. Number two, I ate at the job site. Number three, it was business related. Like, that's not enough. Or number four, my bookkeeper said it's fine. Again, that's not going to get you off. And owner only meals are almost never 100%. And meals for family members who are not employees, they would not be deductible. So in terms of documentation, what would you need? So at the very minimum, you'd need a receipt that includes date and amount, and somehow you would also need to document or prove who was there and the business purpose. Now, in terms of who was there and the business purpose, there's a number of ways that this can be shown. It could be calendar invites, it could be a mass email that was sent, some flyers, but obviously the receipt itself is not going to document who was there and what it was for, but to prove those two criteria, Again, I mean, there's a number of other ways to prove that out. So again, some of the most common scenarios I see with my contractor clients are documenting that it was for a required safety meeting, or it was a meal for a remote offsite job location, mandatory training, company-wide event, or it could be food provided at marketing and promotional events. So again, the general rule is that meals are 50% deductible. However, if you come off with one of these exceptions, if they truly belong in one of these scenarios just mentioned, then you would be eligible to deduct them 100%. So I hope you found this helpful. Click like, subscribe, turn on notifications for any updates, and hope to see you in the next one.